At its core, attractiveness is the ability to draw people towards you. Now, whether that's through your physical appearance, your personality, or your behavior. Now, it's not only about looking a certain way, but more about how you carry yourself and how you interact with other people and how you make them feel. And also, attractiveness is subjective, and of course it varies from person to person. However, there are some undeniable universal traits that most people will genuinely perceive as attractive, like kindness, confidence, and a sense of purpose. Okay, first things first though, let's address the elephant in the room, and that's of course physical attractiveness. But again, this can vary from person to person because we all just kind of like what we like, but taking care of your body through exercise, diet, and grooming goes a very long way because it not only improves your general overall appearance, but it also signals that you're healthy, that you have discipline, and that you can handle commitment. Because committing to a healthy lifestyle is generally the more difficult path to take. Attractiveness also comes from our own individual personal style. Again, subjective, but here's something that I want you to think about. Changing your appearance with the clothes that you wear is the easiest thing you can do to be more attractive, especially as a man. It basically comes down to this. Wear better looking clothes and you'll instantly be more attractive. It's really that simple. I mean, think about how easy that is, and then think about all the steps that women have to go through, right? I mean, women have the hair, the nails, the lashes, the makeup, the shoes, the dress, the accessories, the whole thing. But all you really need to do to start being viewed as more attractive is to wear nicer clothes. I'm closing in on 900 videos on my channel, and the majority of those videos are about style and fashion for men over 40. So if you need somewhere to start, just click on one of my playlists and grab some popcorn. But I don't want to just leave it at that. I want to give you 2 places to start right now. First, your shoes. Wear nicer shoes. If you're a work boot guy, maybe wear nicer versions of work boots when you're out somewhere, like not at work. Maybe you're a sneaker guy. Wear nicer sneakers. You don't have to wear dress shoes all the time. You get the idea. So the next place to start is with your belt. I know, sounds very simple, but most men own exactly 2 belts, a black one and a brown one. I mean, those are good and you should have those, but what about everything in between? Because black and brown don't necessarily go with everything. Now, if you've been around for a while, you know that I'm a huge fan of Anson Belt and Buckle. These guys have been supporters of my channel from the very beginning. And I think it was about 6 or 7 years ago when I first talked about Anson Belt on my channel. You guys, I did this whole video shoot out in the sand dunes, running around barefoot, wearing a couple different suits. So if you haven't seen that video, it's a pretty quick one. It's different, but I'll leave the link for you down below. Anson Belt is sponsoring today's video, and I have mentioned on multiple occasions that these are basically the only belts that I wear anymore. They're good looking, they're amazing quality, the fit is always perfect, the buckles are interchangeable, and they've got colors and styles to match any outfit and any shoe. And one of the coolest things about Anson Belt is never having to worry about a bad fit. All of their belts are designed with this little micro adjustment that always gives you a perfect fit. I mean, if you think about it, traditional belts have their holes spaced out 1 inch apart, and they never seem to be in the right place. But these micro adjustments are spaced out 1/4 inch apart. So even if you're wearing like a thick pair of jeans or really thin slacks or trousers, you'll always have a perfect fit. Anson belts are fashionable, they're functional and affordable. They also have a ton of different styles and colors and materials when it comes to their belt combinations. The straps come in leather, canvas, nylon, cloth, micro suede, as well as vegan and some other premium limited edition materials. I'm telling you guys, hit that link down below in the description and go check out their box sets of 3 straps and 2 buckles that you can choose for yourself. So I would say do like 1 leather dress belt and then 2 casual canvas belts and be well on your way to looking more attractive. Thank you, Anson Belt, for supporting my channel and for sponsoring today's video. Okay, one more quick thing about style and how that relates to overall attractiveness, and then we're gonna move on to some other meatier topics. How you dress communicates a lot about who you are. It communicates how much you value yourself. It communicates if you pay attention to details. It communicates self-confidence, self-worth, and self-respect. And when you boil it all down, the simple fact is people who dress better are viewed as more attractive. It's that simple. All right, we covered physical attractiveness and we've covered clothing. So now let's dig in just a little bit deeper and talk about emotional intelligence. People who fly off the handle when the smallest little things go wrong are viewed as having low emotional intelligence. But if you're able to manage your emotions and remain cool when things start to go sideways, you will be viewed as having higher emotional intelligence. So maybe over the next couple days or a few weeks, just monitor yourself and take a look at how quickly you raise your voice in arguments. Do you remain chill, or do you get really heated and raise your voice very quickly? Here's the thing. It's not about being the loudest guy in the room. I mean, maybe somebody spills some red wine on your pants. Sure, that might suck, but they make more pants. It's not the end of the world. So here's another way to think about it that might hit home. So think about it this way. Babies and toddlers yell, scream, and cry when they don't get what they want or when they're upset. The older we get, the more we should be able to regulate those emotions so we don't act like overgrown toddlers. If you stay cool and collected when things get stressful, you have higher emotional intelligence, and that's attractive. Another trait that's viewed as attractive is a genuine interest in other people, asking questions in conversation, and not over-talking. So here's a personal story. Last weekend, I took myself out for dinner at one of my favorite little cocktail lounges. I'm sitting there at the bar, and a guy comes up to me and says he recognizes me from my YouTube channel, and he just wanted to come over and say hi. We had a nice chat. We took a couple pictures, and then he went back to his table where his wife was sitting with some of their friends. After maybe 10 or 15 minutes or so, I was feeling kind of spicy, so I sent their table champagne. They were all very thankful, and they waved me over to say thank you. I went over, and I ended up sitting with these guys for probably the next 2 hours or so, just getting to know them and enjoying conversation. But here's the thing though, so at one point, they were asking me about my channel and how I started it and why, so I began talking about all of that. But after a couple minutes of talking, I kind of realized how much I was actually doing all the talking and not asking questions about their lives. Now, of course, they did ask me those questions and I was answering, but after a few minutes, I just wanted to shift the conversation away from me and learn more about them. So I guess the point is having enough self-awareness to realize that you're the only one that's been doing all the talking for a while is a good thing. But of course, right, we all like to talk about ourselves, but after a while it gets to be old. So be a good listener and shift the conversation back to them. Ask them some questions and get them talking about themselves. Because having a genuine interest in other people enough to want to get to know them better is another very attractive trait. Another attractive trait is, of course, confidence. But this is where I think a lot of people get it wrong, because sometimes having confidence means admitting that you don't have all the answers. Think about it like this. Isn't it easier to just admit that you're not an expert on a given subject than it is to put on a whole show trying to fake it so other people like you or think that you're smart? Because the thing is, most people can see right through that act. With that said, though, I believe that confidence comes from having been there and done that. It comes from experience and also expertise. It's also kind of this fearless attitude that even if you fail at something, it's all good. For example, like when you walk up and approach that woman and get rejected, no big deal. You didn't know her a minute ago, so you're right where you started, but you also had confidence to go talk to her in the first place. It's all good. Confidence signals that you're comfortable with who you are, and it conveys the message that you are trustworthy. It's not about being arrogant and announcing to the world that you are confident. It's more about having a quiet assurance in your abilities and your self-worth. Something else that's attractive is knowing what you're about and knowing who you are. It's about knowing your values and your boundaries and understanding and knowing what you're trying to achieve and having a plan to achieve it. And that is the advantage of being older, my friends, because younger guys just haven't quite figured that out yet. They're still trying to play the chameleon to fit in everywhere. Men in their 20s and 30s will say, find a new girlfriend, and then immediately change who they are to fit into what she's looking for. They haven't figured out who they are yet, but older guys have been there, done that, we've played those games, and we're done with it. We're on a whole different trajectory, and most of us are still building something. We still have strength and energy to make shit happen, reach our goals, and achieve a lot more. We're not dead yet. And I would say, in a lot of ways, at this point in life, this is when a lot of us wake up. I'll leave it there for now, gentlemen, but if you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Live well, and I'll see you in the next one.